It has come to my attention that Dr. Coker is retiring as the chair of the Department of Communication, and all I can say is what a momentous occasion. I'm really sorry that I won't be able to be there with y'all in Valpo to celebrate this momentous occasion, but I did figure I'd return to another point that marks a momentous occasion to send my regards. We're starting out here in front of the Stephen C. O'Connell Center at the University of Florida, which commemorates the men's basketball championships in 2006 and 2007. Now, since I can't be there in person to talk through the next step in Doug's life, I am prepared to spend a couple of minutes discussing how I think we should think about commemorating Doug's extensive service and answering the all-important question of, what's next? Often when an icon retires, they'll erect a statue to their honor, and Doug has certainly been an icon in the Department of Communication for the last however many years. He has been critical in honing and shaping the young minds of the students that he's interacted with on a day-to-day basis, much like the statues of icons behind me were critical in honing and shaping the records of what it means to be a quarterback in the SEC during their careers. You can see Danny Werfel, Steve Spurrier, and of course Doug's favorite football player from the last ever, Tim Tebow. Perhaps a statue is just too ostentatious. You don't have a nice place in front of Schnabel Hall to put something like that up. In these tough times, the cost of bronze is just too expensive for a statue. I might suggest some other things, like for example, you could hang up banners or put up plaques of some sort. You can see, like the University of Florida did, they've chosen to recognize their championships using banners here on the south wall of the end zone at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. You can see the myriad of SEC championships that we've won, and of course the three big ones, the national championship in 1996, 2006, and in 2008. I'm sure that you'd have no problem finding some space there in the entry hall in Schnabel to put up a couple banners to commemorate what Doug has done. Statues, banners, street signs, plaques in the ground. Doug, you can see there are any number of great ways that the department can choose to recognize you, and I'm sure you'll figure something out. But that brings up the next question, what's next? You can see that I'm standing here in front of the football offices. You're obviously going to need a new office. You don't get the big corner one anymore since you're not the chair, but I'm pretty sure that yours are never going to be this nice. In all seriousness, Doug, we've had a little bit of fun today. We've had a little bit of fun over the years going back and forth about Florida football and Tennessee football. But on this momentous occasion, I wanted to take the opportunity to say thank you. Even here today, as we've gone back and forth, I've been able to incorporate many of the lessons I learned in my communication classes so many years ago. But it's going to be a big hole to fill in the department as you step down. You've been a wonderful friend. You've been a wonderful mentor. I got my first taste of educational administration sitting behind your desk in your chair as the chair of the department for a day back in 2001. And I've enjoyed a great many years in the field so far, and I look forward to many more. I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of thought and consideration put into your successor, and I can only imagine that they will be as competent as you've done such a great job leading your peers in that department for so long. You've touched the lives of so many students, and that's irreplaceable, but I'm sure that you've found great satisfaction in that as well. I hope now as you take a step into the next part of your life that it's as wonderful and fulfilling as the last years have been. May they be fabulous and fantastic. Thank you again. So there you have it, Doug. My thoughts on potentially how the department can recognize your years of service as chair, some thoughts on perhaps what's next, and a couple of words of thanks from a guy who's really felt your presence in my life over the years. Now, in closing, since you've got some more time on your hands, what with not being the chair, and your sabbatical coming up this fall, maybe you should come down and join me for a game. I'm standing here on the Florida field at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. It doesn't look like much now because it's the off season, but I can guarantee you on that third weekend in September when we whoop the Volunteers, it's going to be great to be a Florida Gator.